Have you ever spent weeks planning something for your child? Packing every bag, double checking every detail, making sure that they had everything that they needed, cheering louder than anyone else in the stands, only to watch them run straight by you and into someone else's arms. If you've ever had that moment, this episode's for you. Because this week I realized something about motherhood that completely changed how I see my own mom. And maybe it will change how you see yourself too. Welcome back to Struggle and Strength Moms Balancing It All with Nikki. There are certain moments in motherhood that catch you completely off guard. Not because something terrible happened, but because something so ordinary suddenly reveals a truth you've never seen before. That was this week at my daughter's National Diving Championship in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. It was an incredibly hot week. It was amazing, though, and it was so great. The whole family was there, and one small moment after her competition became one of the biggest lessons I've learned as a mom. And surprisingly, it had absolutely nothing to do with diving. It had everything to do with what every mom secretly longs for. It's why we do what we do, to feel chosen. If you've ever traveled with kids, you know that the competition starts long before the event. There were weeks of planning, packing, schedules, hotel reservations. You've got to get the car and the hotel and the flight. You've got to pack all of the uniform, like the swimsuits and the jackets and the shorts and the dive suits and the t shirts. Oh my gosh, everything had to make it into that suitcase. You're thinking through every what if, making sure that that the kid is physically and emotionally ready. Most of that work, let's be honest, no one ever sees. And honestly, that's okay because moms don't do it for recognition. We do it because we love our kids and it has to be done. Like if we don't do it, who else is going to do it? And then competition day finally arrives. Your child dives beautifully. I was so proud of her in that moment. And I thought for sure she saw me when she was on that board. She waved, I waved back, not knowing that she was waving at my husband. And then after it was over, after she did so well, she looked into the stands, she ran over, and she ran straight to my husband. In that moment, my heart hurt. And it's not because she loves him more, and not because he did anything wrong, and not because I wanted the spotlight. I just simply wanted to feel chosen. And as I sat there with those feelings, a memory came rushing back to me. When my husband and I first met, we went to this wine event. It was his parents and my parents. It was a little bit awkward, but we had a lot of fun. And I remember my mom getting so upset. And I couldn't understand like what is going on? You're there with us. Like what is the problem? What are you upset about? And she was like, "Well, why don't you hold my hand like your husband holds his mom's hand?" And I was like, "What? Like, what are you talking about?" And she's like, "You don't ever give me any hugs." And I was like, Okay." Like, this came out of nowhere, and I was so confused. And now I grew up with 3 brothers, and so we were not like a huggy, kissy, lovey kind of a family. I mean, I barely remember even being told "I love you" from anybody in my family. And then to be, like, hugging and holding hands, like, I don't remember ever doing that unless I was, like, maybe itty bitty. But she wanted to spend more time with me. And before I met my husband, I used to take her on trips after I graduated from pharmacy school, and she loved it. And then she got jealous that I wasn't taking her on any of those trips anymore and I was going with my husband. And sometimes she seemed hurt. And honestly, I had absolutely no idea. I didn't understand. I thought she was just being dramatic, you know, like she was just being jealous and trying to start something and bring in the drama. And I thought, I talk to you all the time. Like, I constantly call you. We celebrate birthdays together. We include you. We're out at an event right now. Like, what more do you want? I had no idea. And I was like, why isn't that enough? And then this week, I finally understood. You see, my mom, she raised 4 kids. It's me and my 3 brothers. She worked hard and lots of jobs. She cleaned, she planned, she organized, she always made sure we had everything that we needed. She carried the invisible weight that moms carry every single day, and I was always a daddy's girl. My brothers weren't really very affectionate either. And looking back now, I don't think she really wanted more vacations or expensive gifts or even more phone calls. I think she just wanted to feel chosen. She wanted to know that after pouring so much of herself and her soul and her life into our family, that someone would intentionally choose her. And not because they had to, because she was our mom, but because they wanted to. That excitement, that feeling, that overwhelmed joy when you wanted to celebrate with somebody. My mom wanted to be that person because that's how I felt. And suddenly, my heart broke for her because this week I finally understood why she would get so upset because I felt the exact same way. And it wasn't really jealousy or anything. Like, I love that my daughter wanted to run straight to my husband. I love that she holds his hand. I love that they get each other, that she sits with him. They love dad jokes together. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized this isn't just about the children. It's our husbands, it's grandparents, it's extended family, it's friends. Kids get so excited when grandma walks through the door, or grandpa shows up, or dad gets home from work. And moms, we're already there. We're the constant, we're the safe place. We're the ones who packed the snacks, who remembered the sunscreen, who signed the permission slip, who washed the uniform and made the whole day possible. And sometimes we become so dependable that we almost become invisible. Not because we're less loved, but because our love has become the foundation that everyone stands on. It's expected. My kids know that I always pack the snacks. They know that I plan everything. My husband doesn't even try. And when he does, he's like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm like, seriously? You can play video games all day long on your phone, but you can't book a rental car, or you can't look up to see what time does the train arrive. It boggles my mind. But everyone depends on us so much that we do it all. We become that foundation and we're expecting not necessarily recognition, but that feeling of being chosen. That feeling, oh my gosh, I don't know about you, but when my kids first started talking, I wanted them so badly to say mommy, 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 mommy. And it was always like a competition, like, my husband would be like, "Daddy, daddy," and I'd be like, "Mommy, mommy," and we're trying to see, like, who they would what word they would say the very first, or who they would walk to their very first steps. And it was like, if it wasn't you, your heart broke because you wanted to feel chosen. You wanted to feel seen, that they knew that you were their rock, their stone, the one that they could rely on. And here's what I realized. Children children are not choosing someone else because they love us less, and that's the hard part. They're responding to the excitement, novelty, the person they haven't seen all day, and that's completely normal. But understanding that it doesn't erase the feelings, it doesn't make it any easier because underneath it all, every mom has a little girl inside her who still wants to feel chosen too. And I don't think that that's selfish. I think it's human. And this week, something in me changed, not towards my daughter, not towards my husband, but towards my own mom. Because for the first time in my life, I finally understood what she had been telling me all those years. She kept telling me, "I'm lonely. I'm so lonely." And my dad and I looked at each other like, "What is she talking about? We have no idea. Like, we're right here in front of you." She wasn't asking for more. She was asking to feel seen, to feel chosen, to feel that love, that unconditional love that we all are craving. And to know that after giving so much, that she still mattered. And that's the hardest part is we give and give and give and give and give so much, and we feel like nobody understands what we go through, the mental load that we're carrying every day. We went out on the boat when we were in Fort Lauderdale with, some other friends that were diving too, and the kids were a little bit younger, and so they're still in that stage where it's like, "Mommy, mommy, 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 watch this, mommy, watch this," and she kept apologizing. I was like, "Don't apologize, they're curious, they want your attention, they wanna know that you're there for them," that's what it's all about, that's what motherhood is, like, that's what we wanna give them is that love that they know that they can always come find us, that we're there for them, that we're gonna be there by their sides no matter what, thick and thin. But it's just not our children that need to have that feeling too. It's ourselves. And it's not even just moms, our husbands too. Men feel the same way. That's why everyone in life, like social media, people are only looking for approval. They're looking to be chosen. They're looking to fit in. They're looking for that connection because we are herd animals and we are trying to find our pack. And it's heartbreaking when you feel like you don't matter. And it's not that anybody does it on purpose. It's just that it just happens. We don't realize what's going on. My daughter, I talked to her, I said, "You know, I got really upset and it hurt me that you didn't even come find me. That you," and she's like, "I didn't know where you were." I said, "Well, you didn't look like you were even trying to find me or even coming over here." She's like, "I was going to." I was like, "You went to go sit down and after you celebrated with your daddy, and that really hurt my feelings because I felt like I didn't really matter." And I was like, "Maybe I shouldn't have even come here." And she's like, "No, mommy, I'm so happy that you're here and I wanted to find you, but I couldn't see you." She had no idea. And I was like, I'm not mad, I'm not upset. I love that you love your dad, but I also wanna feel that love from you too, and I understand, like, you didn't know where I was, but I wanna tell you how I feel so that in the future, you'll know, I wanna go celebrate with both my mommy and my daddy, and, that's gonna make me feel good and her feel good and her dad feel good, and everyone's gonna feel good. So maybe this week, choose someone. If your mom is still here, call her. If your wife quietly makes everything happen, thank her. If your grandmother has always been the steady presence in your life, tell her. And if you're a mom listening today, I want you to hear this. Just because your family doesn't always express the way you need, doesn't mean that you are not deeply loved. Because sometimes the people who depend on us for the most forget to tell us because our love has become the safest place that they've ever known. And it just feels natural, right? They just forget. They forget that we're there. They're so comfortable because they know that we're there that they forget like, "Oh my gosh, I need to go celebrate with my mommy." And I know one day my daughter is gonna become a mom herself. She's so good with kids. She loves them to death, and she's so excited to someday be a mom in the way, way, way future from now. And maybe she'll have a moment just like I did this week. Maybe she'll spend weeks preparing for something important, and then maybe her child will run straight to someone else. And maybe, just maybe, in that moment, she'll think of me. And not because I expect her to, but because motherhood has a way of helping us understand the women who came before us. So, thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Struggle and Strength Moms Balancing It All with Nikki. If today's episode touched your heart, please share it with another mom because I have a feeling she's had a moment where she quietly wondered, does anyone see everything I do? And maybe today she'll realize she's not alone. So until next time, remember the people you love may not always know how to say thank you, but every once in a while, we all need to know that someone chooses us.